Three, two, one. Wicka wicka. What's up, y'all? Peace, love, and rock and roll, brother. Peace, love, and rock and roll. Yo, I got my hat on. Yeah, I got my baby dog. I swear to God, it's 5 p.m. I know I'm filming so late at night here, and my dog. Hi there, hi there. How are you doing, Mr. Dog? And it's so funny because bro really thinks it's time for him to get fed. Bro, you eat at 6 p.m. every day. Why do you think at 5 p.m. it's time for you to eat? It's not. You're so cute. Here's the problem though. He's got this weird thing. I told you last episode. For anyone who didn't listen, nope. I played judo with him. He tries to because you think he wants me to pet him when he's like hitting me, and you're like, oh, well, go, you should pet him. I would if that's what he wanted. Mm-mm. No, no, no. He's just pestering me. Because, woo. The second you go to pet him, he's like, pet me, pet me, pet me. He's like, he's like smacking you. He's a little bossy, bobbly. Bossy Bobalucci. Just checking to make sure lighting's good. Just looking at the monitor. Hi there. Okay, let's see. What are we drinking today? What are we talking about? This is the Vibecast. This is the new Vibecast. This is the rock show. Oh, bro, I'm straight up. I'm like tuckered. Like I tuckered myself out. You ever bring your kids to like the pool? I've always been the kid. I know what am I talking about here? As a kid, they'd be like, "Oh, oh look, he got all tuckered out." Aw, bro, that's me. I did that to myself today. I was like all hyper and like this morning. I was like, "Make a TikTok." I was like, "Okay," and then I did that. And then I picked up the guitar and I was like, "Do one where you like play on the acoustic because every time you do acoustic and you force yourself to sing, you start like once you're not thinking about what you're doing and you're just in it, you start spitting, you start singing." That's when you get your best vocal lines. That's when it's like all good, man. Yeah. And so I did that, and so I hopped on. I was on the friggin' TikTok, and I clicked like 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, let's record because you can record up to 10 minutes, then you can edit it after. So I did that, and I recorded for like 10 minutes. Um, and I came up with a thing. It was funny because it started out where I was like, oh, this is the verse. This is so good. But then I kept trying to replay it and like sing with it, and I kept messing it up. Didn't sound good. And then I was like, well, what would a chorus be? And I came up with something that's way catchier, way better for the chorus. And I like kind of sang the same melody I was trying to sing over the verse. I was like, oh, dang it. Well, that's good. But this whole verse thing, we're going to have to like kind of get rid of. Like, we're going to have to figure it out. And so I started singing, and it was funny because later I realized that verse stuff made a good pre chorus. But it was funny because I started singing, and then I realized, like, as I was going, I was like, bro, like, this song is about, like, I'm singing about how, like I'm trying to have fun and, like, just take it easy, but maybe I'm not going to right now, because it's just not happening, like, my grandpa died, like, I don't know, but a couple days ago now, and so, like, burp. But yeah, no, my grandpa passed away, and I realized I was like, yeah, I'm singing about how, like, you know, no licking. He's trying to lick. Mm-mm. I told that dog. I said no licking, no licking. Uh, daily video journal. Okay. Rock Show. Updates. What did I do today? What am I going to continue to do? What's up, man? Come on, man. Oh, dude, someone tried to shoot a presidential candidate yesterday. So even though the show's apolitical, that's just a noteworthy, like, historical thing. You know what I mean? Like, someone tried to, like that one dude tried to kill JFK, and then he did. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's just, like, crazy that, like, yesterday, like, bro, Trump got his ear, like, just pierced. Like, whoa. Anyways, so it's just kind of like, it's been a crazy day. Everyone's like, oh my God, what? So that's funny. And then social media, like, people are like, just like, hum, hum, hum. Everyone's got an opinion on everything. Everyone's an expert on everything all the time. I saw one infographic and now I need to berate people. But also, it's probably like mostly bots. Like, this is something Joe Rogan brings up a lot on the podcast, the Rogan Experience. You've never heard of it. Anyways, so he brings up that, like, I think it's like 17 of the top 20 like Christian Facebook pages um, are run by Russian troll farms. Like, they're literally just Russian bots. There's no people, like, there's real people click them and start following them, but like the initial engagement is all fake. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, like, a lot of what you see on social media is fake. And then I know a lot of places they actually change what the comments are, depending on who's looking at the post, like what comments pop up in, like, at the top. So if there's like 20,000 comments in a post, you're gonna see the top 1,000 that you might scroll through if you try really hard. After like a couple minutes, is what you're gonna see. But if there's 20 different people, they could see 20 different sets of comments. If they kept scrolling, they could see all of them, but, like, they're not. So, yeah, don't like, I might be saying, like, oh, everyone's got an opinion on everything and they feel like entitled to an opinion, but that's probably not true. Like, everyone pops off at the mouth, about just everything, because it's like emotional response, and then they have to say words, and then they can, try and logic back to what they said from their emotion. But, like, even then, I don't think people really, like, people do care about, like, stuff, but, like, this is what I mean is, like, I get when you're talking stuff where it's like it's the presidential election or it's literally politics. Okay, I get why that's, like, controversial, or like religion and politics. I get why those things are, and they are controversial, right? To a certain extent. But what's funny is like when people have the same type of energy when it's like Oreos or cheesecake, and they go, "I like Oreos. How dare you? Oreos? No, cheesecake's the best. I love cheesecake." Ah! Well, there's no Oreo cake factory, so no, I'm right. I like Cheetos. Like, people bring that energy, but I don't think even people, like, some people do, but, like, a lot of it is just like probably like the lowest intelligence of, like, people in society, just kind of like yelling at the wind and yelling past each other. It's just funny, like, people can be like, you can be like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of like, let's say you're saying Star Wars. You're like, yeah, I think I like the prequels the best. Those are my personal favorites to watch. And the other person goes, no, I like the original trilogy. The original trilogy is the good one. You're wrong. You're like, what do you mean I'm wrong? No, I never said the original trilogy wasn't the best. I didn't. I said I like watching the prequels more. I mean, that's just a true statement. I just told you what movies I like watching. I, how is that wrong? It's not wrong. Like, no, if you're saying, oh, that's just not right. But when someone goes, no, that's incorrect. They're not better. You're like, no, I never said they're better. You know what I mean? It's just kind of funny. There's lots of stuff like that on the internet. But I think that's where people are talking past each other. They're not having a disagreement. No one, like, if I go out there and say, yeah, I really like oh, like, I like the original kind of like 4 Batman movies better than the Christian Bale ones. The Bale ones are great, but like, bro, I love the Tim Burton. And then even Joel Schumacher for those last two, I loved the aesthetic. Like I thought it was so cool. Captivated my imagination. I played the games growing up, so revisiting it always holds a special place for me. So I really love Batman, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. I love those four movies. Um, and I think George Clooney was a cool Batman. And someone goes, "You're wrong." You're like, "What do you mean I'm wrong? I just told you which movies I liked watching." Yeah, no, but the Bale ones are better. Like, no, no. Yeah, you like the Bale ones, and I just told you I like the other ones more. We don't disagree. You agree that I like this one, and I agree that you like those ones. We agree that we have different taste. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean. But like that's what I'm saying. Where it's either people who are like not real because they're bots, um, people who are just spouting off the mouth, and then people who are talking past each other. So I don't even know why I got it. I don't know why. Here's why I got into this. Um, this urge that everyone's gonna have an opinion on everything and everyone truly cares, and this comes to cancel culture too, where they go like, "Oh my god, I saw one infographic and I reposted it, and like we need to cancel this person because the allegations are like none of that's like none of that's real." Like if someone does a crime, right, or like does something, like the fact that they did it is real. But if people just say things on the internet and like an infographic, like and then someone shares it, yeah, but like in the age of like podcasting and stuff, like if there's literally no proof and there's equal like counter evidence to whatever evidence people have, it's like this isn't like it's nothing in the sense that like 5 years later, no one's going to care about it because it's not true. So anything that's not true isn't really like a big deal. But people like post infographics and be like, "You're canceled," and like, "I'm sending you hate mail." It's like that stuff is like that's just people like doing something in the moment out of panic. They're not going to. Here's what it is: your fans come every single day. You know what I mean, or like every week. You know what I mean? Like you watch a TV show you like every week. And the people who like let's say you had a TV show that you really liked watching, let's say like Law and Order, right? And then Law and Order, they make a joke about Taylor Swift. And then like Swifties come, but like the fans, you guys watch it every single like week. You know, it's just because you like it. The people who are coming in as this hate mob, and not all Swifties, but just let's say some crazy Swifties who are like just crazy people. Like you have crazy people in any fan base, right? So let's say some just like real crazy Taylor Swift fans were like, "We're boycotting Law and Order." You know what I mean? And they started like sending hate mail and stuff. You're like, okay, that's like, yeah, like that's not fun, but like in a year, like those people aren't going to be. They're going to be on the next thing that they're sending hate mail to. You know what I mean? But your fans are still like watching. So that's the thing is like, and whenever amount of fans is like, all it takes is someone making uncredible allegations, like literally with like no evidence, no nothing. Like if people just come at you, and then like there's some fans who come and they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know," like either they're fair weather fans, they're not actually your fans, which in like that case it's like okay, nothing was really lost, right? And then if they're not, but they're just like, I want to like, I want to have I want to have a minute to like sit back and digest. Um, and it, like literally, if it's just BS, like it's not real, then you literally like over time they just see like, oh, nothing's happening, nothing's coming out. Okay, that was BS, and then they're a fan. They're still a fan. So like that's the thing is like when when you get into the online space and you start doing all this stuff and you start podcasting and you start doing TikToks and you start posting things and, as much positivity as you approach things from. Even if you're Mr. Rogers, you're going to get people saying nasty things to you. And so what I'm saying is take them with a grain of salt, because Gary Vee puts this well, is like if someone's saying something nasty to you, it's because they're hurting, usually, and then also they're not real. Like literally, they're not people. They're just bots. Like they're literally bots. So take that as a little bit of solace for you. What's funny is I'm realizing the Rock Show is a place that I'm going to bring my fans together, and bring people on. And then especially once the audience is at like 700,000 people an episode, then it's like, okay, we're like actually being able to help bands get discovered, like, which is the whole point. But the second point, which is also the point, is to publicize myself and to make myself known and to make my brand and my personality known, so that I can use that to introduce people to stuff I like. And I'll tell you why. Like, that's, I think, the most simplified version, the most fundamental version of what I'm doing. Okay, so if I publicize my personality, when I'm able to put people on the map and get them discovered, you can say like, wow, you're altruistic. But it's like, no, like I want good music first off, and I want these bands to be successful. But the fact that I recommended these people and I put all these people on the map and I become more and more successful, not only does it reflect well on me, and so people want to like hear who I'm introducing to the world in the future going forward and makes me relevant, but it increases my like social status and increases my bank account and like all of these things that you could say are superficial, but they do give you leverage to do what you want in the world and to take a stand if there's people you don't agree with who are trying to coerce you, right? Like, so if you're working, like if you were a news anchor at a radio station or something, or like if you were on a sitcom and the writers wanted you to like, I don't know, support slavery or something, and you were like, yeah, I'm not doing that, but you don't have a paycheck. Like, you're in a tricky position there. But if you have like $1 million a year coming in, like literally you're Joe Rogan or whatever, and you've got like $100 million from Spotify, and you like are opening a giant comedy club and like helping an entire community of artists like find the world and the world find these artists, like that's beautiful. But also it gives you power. It gives you power to say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. Yes, I will do that. It gives you power to take energy away from the things you don't agree with and to put a lot of fuel on the fire for fires you really do believe in. We got a scratchy throat today. So let's see what I wrote down. So, I invited my buddy Kobe on. I think he's got COVID right now. Best wishes, Kobe. Kobe's awesome. Kobe is like, he plays bass. He teaches guitar lessons. He's in like NorCal. He's in Northern California. And Kobe's like, he's like so awesome. I met him when I was going up the like coast playing shows and stuff, and we played together, and he's just like the coolest. He's so cool. No, he is the coolest though. So Kobe's awesome. And he's like doing like, I saw him like doing like reels and stuff, and I was like, yes. And I was like, he gets it. I'm like, okay. Like these are interesting like conversations to have about like social media and being a musician, and like what does that kind of look like. And then I wrote the song about my grandpa. Oh, so that episode will probably like be out like Thursday or Friday with Kobe, hopefully, fingers crossed. Likewise, if you go on one of the old episodes, like episode 4 of The Rock Show, I believe it was me and then Dave Levine. Dave Levine. This is like, for anyone who watched Joe Rogan or like watches Joe Rogan, this is like your Joey Diaz. But this is our Joey Diaz. Like Dave Levine is like the craziest guy ever. And so I want to keep the show like about unity and kind of like bringing rockers together. So like the only thing I mean to say is he's literally like Joey Diaz. So I'm going to be like Like the big thing is gonna be like, can you keep it PG? You know what I mean? Um, and I want to keep it PG until this is like full time, because let's say I do like want to work some jobs and stuff while I'm building this, which I do when I get out of school. Um, yeah, I just rather keep it clean. And also, it forces me to be more creative instead of just swearing and cursing, starting out initially at least. And then, I mean, that's open for interpretation. Like if I'm making like $1 million a year, I'm doing this full time, and I'm having like giant rock stars on, it's like I'm not telling Ozzy Osbourne he can't swear or Dave Grohl he can't swear. You know what I mean? Or talk politics. But in general, like my kind of philosophy is I want to bring people together with the show, and I want to give a resource for rockers in the Discord to meet up and to learn and to collaborate together. And so, like, if you don't like someone else's music, like the place for that is your podcast or your music. It's not in the Discord, right? And so for me, like, I see my podcast as kind of like a little bit of a neutral zone. Like, you can't like totally be like, I'm not going to say I don't like this music or I'm not a fan of that. Like, I can say, like, what? No, there's just some like I don't know. I'm certain I could find music I don't like, but also then again, it's like this is the thing. It's like if I don't like it, like okay, well I don't want to talk about the fact that I don't like. I could talk about stuff I do like. It takes the same amount of energy. It makes me happier. And it makes the world a better place. Literally, I mean it's that simple. You know what I mean? It's like it's just better for you and for everyone else to talk about things you love and you're excited about, and it's much more sustainable. You can do it forever. Like I was like worked up and like freaking out this morning, and then I thought about what I was excited about, and I wrote down like all these things I wanted to do and all these ideas. And then like now that I have them written down, I'm like, oh, I was like, what if I just do that one? Like, what if I just DM Covey? What if I just text Dave Levine, and see if he wants to like co-host? What if I just do a TikTok and sit down and play something and play guitar, because I haven't played guitar like as much as I normally do. Um, And then yeah, I would, literally, what if I took this is something a big I did is on my iCloud it filled up with videos, because I used to whenever I had an idea I would take my iPhone and I would record a video, but then sometimes you're playing for like an hour, and so I have these massive files completely filling up the iCloud storage. And so what's kind of funny is I started like probably in like January. I started just doing voice memos every time I have an idea, because the audio files are tiny. They're tiny compared to the video files. Um, and so, but I had to go back. I downloaded almost all of the videos, like 14,000 and like 60. But when I downloaded this back in February, there was 14,068. So there was 8 videos that I didn't download. And and so I'd been putting off deleting all these videos off the iCloud and making room for new stuff. But because I was like, what if I really want that 8 video? What if it's a song I'll never get back? But then I had this epiphany. I literally last night hanging out with LJ, I went, well, I want to do these TikToks. I'm really excited about this. Like he showed me that his friend, um, I want to give her name a shout out. I will later. But she does these TikToks where she goes, this song, it's a crime that you don't know, part 343. And then it cuts to a really good song you've never heard before. And I've got so many of those. I think I've literally got thousands like in my like songs on Spotify. And like a lot of them are gems, because what I like doing with artists is I like going through and I like finding like what is your like with Rush. I literally was like, let's start the first album, listen to every single song, like skip around. Okay, next album. And I try and find what is not the hit off that record, but is really good. And I keep doing that. And so for like almost every artist, I've got like 5 songs that I think are like really good that no one knows. And times like 1,000 bands, right? So that's like really fun for me. Um, And so, yeah, I was really excited to do that. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'd have to screen record on my phone, which wouldn't be a problem. And I could edit in CapCut and upload it. But then and I could upload it to everything from my phone. But the problem is I don't have any space on my phone or the cloud for the videos. Because even if I do all that and then every week I go and I download all of them onto a hard drive and take them off the cloud and delete it and make more room, I was like, I don't have even enough room to do that. So I was like, oh, well, I got to make room for new memories. And so I said, oh, I don't care if I lose the 8 songs because what I just wrote right now is actually really, really good. This whole song I wrote about my grandpa. And so I just deleted like almost all of them. But I only did that by focusing on what excited me and what made me happy and what I've like really felt inspired by. Yeah. You know. Let's see. Oh yeah, I want to add to the thumbnails. I'm going to start doing day number blank of bringing back rock. I'm going to do that. Let's see. It's a 30-minute ep right now. My throat's a little not like scratchy. It's not. Yeah. This is a good one. This is like my chill Sunday relaxed day, which is kind of funny to say because like I did a lot, but like I was having a hard time without relaxing. But now that I'm like doing stuff, oh my god, I mean it feels so nice and relaxing after getting stuff done. You're just like, let me lay back. Oh no, so this is why it's nice. So I'm gonna start also. There's like, I love these inspirational like these things. They just get me so charged up. A lot of them are like Tyler the Creator and like Quentin Tarantino and Steve Jobs, and they're like talking about some inspirational creativity stuff and like creating. And what's so funny is these like faceless Instagram accounts will like repost a bunch of these edits, and they'll just at whoever like made it, and then give their thoughts, and then that's their whole account, and they'll have hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm like, oh my god, like yeah. So like if every day I've got like a video of like me like doing something fun, a clip from whoever we talked to on the podcast, um, maybe some music like me playing something, a little ditty, and then like an inspirational thing, and then here's a song you probably don't know. It's like, oh my god, that's like 5 different unique things that aren't like. If I was following someone and I saw all 5 of those in the feed, first off, you're not going to see them chronologically, but like those are like 5 different types of content. It's not just all podcast clips or all him playing little ideas he came up with on guitar or all of him saying, you need to hear this song, it's a crime you haven't, or all inspirational stuff. But it's like, not only am I trying to like assemble a community of rock stars and like figure out how we do this rock star social media stuff, because that's the thing is like, I'm a rock star influencer. I'm an influencer who's a rock star who's an influencer, but I'm also an influencer to other rock stars. Right? So I'm a rock star influencer. Name of the episode, Rockstar Influencer Connor Farrell here. Rockstar Influencer Connor Farrell. Connor Farrell, the Rockstar Influencer. Now, seeing people, here's me bringing the energy. See, sometimes I'm not this, like, energized, though, as you saw for the last, 29 minutes, 27 minutes. And you're a little introspective and you're thinking about how I'm talking and how's my throat. And my throat's always fine. And I always think, maybe I should stop talking my throat. My throat's going to get tired out. It's not, because I don't do anything crazy, because I know how to lose my voice, and I purposely don't do it because I don't like losing my voice, and it doesn't feel good. There's a deep, like, I feel really bad about myself if I do stuff that hurts my voice, so I don't do it. And also, it doesn't sound good normally. The only time it does sound good is if you're trying to scream for comedic effect, but then you're just destroying your vocal cords. Like, it's not, and to me, that's, like, not funny, you know? It's not because I podcast every day. It's that I talk a lot every day. And that's why I podcast so much. is because I talk a lot. I'm like, it'd be a lot easier and I'd have a lot like more sanity um, if I could just like get it out. It would be productive. You know what I mean? Instead of it just being here and like just like, oh my God, my mind is like going and going and going. You're like, let's get myself tuckered out. You know what I mean? Let's get some energy out. Let's go play. Let's go walk the dog. Let's get a little bit of a sunburn. Like, let's go to the playground and start doing pull ups and stuff. Right? Friggin' get a pump. So, yeah, that's going to be the media mix. Okay, so Rockstar influencer. So, I'm a rock star who, does social media, but also I'm a social media rock star. I think I'm going to be one of the firsts of our kind of what I'm calling the new rock way versus the old rock way. The old rock way was, I wrote this down. Let me pull up where I wrote it down. Where did I write this down? Where did I write this down? Oh, the old rock way was you find people to play with, you make good enough music, you book shows and play live, you then get discovered by a label, and then you make great music and put it out. Then, finally, you build a community. So all of that other stuff is pretty much self-serving. Gary Vee talks about this idea of jab, 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 right hook. And the idea is that you give, and then you ask for something self-serving. Right? So it's you provide value to an audience, you provide value to an audience, you provide value to an audience, and then you say, hey, you guys want to join the Discord? Or, hey, you want to go watch an episode of the podcast? And actually, you're not even having to send people to the podcast because you're posting clips as one of the 5 or 6 things. So I can make the ask of, hey, join the Discord every single day if I'm posting 5 or 6 things that are all like not self-serving, that are pretty much just entertainment and like education to other people. But this way, if you're doing the old rock way, it's all self-serving up front, and then you as the fan get something eventually at the end. But in the social media age, people don't put up with that anymore. Their standards are higher, competition's too high. Because now so many things are willing to give people upfront value and entertainment, and then ask for them to be a fan afterwards. So that's the way you got to lead with it. That's what I'm using as the impetus for the new rock way. You post on social media, you build a community and find the people that you're going to play with eventually, but just also you build a community, make great music and put it out. Then, once not only do you have a big audience, medium to big audience, then you have a group of people to make really good music with, and then you put it out and have a good reception to it, right? Then you book shows and play live. And then you get discovered. Now that's the new rock way. Think about it. The value you're providing is giving someone that people like to come back and follow you for whatever reason that is. People like following you in your content. Either because you're relatable, whatever the reason, you're entertaining. Your life is crazier than their life, so it makes them feel good about their life. Whatever it is, right? But you are valuable to other people. Now they like you. Now there's a lot of them that like you. And then when you create really awesome music, their brain goes, man, this might totally, totally suck, but I really like him, so let me click it. And then when it's really, really good, they go, oh my God, I need to share this to everyone because this guy is not only super valuable and I love everything he does, but this is incredible. And then you are the big, big rock star. Versus the old rock way. So when I'm talking about what content I'm posting, inspirational stuff, and for artists and creatives, right? So inspirational stuff for artists and creatives, rock music stuff of recommending songs that people don't know, clips of a podcast, coming up with creative stuff. Those all appeal to like rock artists and just artists in general, and people who are like wanting to observe social media and networking and like seeing different people that I bring on and we get to talk to and like what we get to learn by coming together. So all of that stuff is valuable. That's creating value for you, the audience. And then if I say, hey, join the Discord if you want to be a part of this, and if you want a podcast or you want to build a little bit of a social media thing, or if you want, or if you're a producer and you want to like find people to work with, whether that's like for free or paid or whatever, like come join the community. And so like it's not a super. I'm not asking for $300. I'm asking for nothing. I'm literally just saying, hey, there's this community, but it might be small right now when you see that I'm asking if you want to join. So like, but don't worry, I'll ask you every day for the next 3 years, and it'll be huge within 3 years. So at some point, I me asking is really just reminding you that you really want to join. It somehow transitions from me saying, hey, there's this thing, you want to take a bet on it, to, hey, there's this thing, and you go, oh, shoot, you just reminded me. I love it. Fueled by Coke, fueled by Diet Zero, fueled by Diet Zero. Okay, I'm gonna pick one or two last things that I want to talk about. I know I've been very tired today, but it is okay. Okay, so come on, man. So we got Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm literally looking down. Let me change my like posture. I'm so like chill. Hi there. Okay, Deadpool and Wolverine looks dope. I'm super excited. Can't wait to see what they do. But also like, I'm excited, but also like, I'm preparing for it to just be boring and predictable, and nothing really cool to happen, just so that like my expectations are like really low. And after like the lack of consistency of good stuff Marvel has done in the last like 2 years, or 4 years at this point now, it's like I don't have to lower my expectations. It's not hard to do that. My expectations are pretty low. I'm like, just please don't massacre Deadpool. That's my only expectation at this point, really, if you're talking about it like that. So yeah, that looks good. And the Captain America, they did a trailer. Anthony Mackie, Captain America. Um, it looks fine. I mean, it's always going to be less interesting than I think Steve Rogers, like even Isaiah Bradley, like Captain America. Just someone with the super soldier serum would be cooler. Anyone who actually has superpowers instead of just cool armor. Like Iron Man's cool armor is like supposed to be like Deus Ex Machina, like it can do anything and shoot power, and but I've got a chest thing, and if the chest thing messes up, but meanwhile like Falcon's got like wings and can just fly, and they're made out of vibranium. It's like Black Panther level of just like unstoppable ability, but also like he can fly. So you're just like, it kind of seems like it's just less compelling. It's a nebulous kind of set of like things. And then Red Hulk, apparently, if you get him to burn up all of his energy, he gets too hot and then he switches back into being General Ross, right? And so like that's his like power set. He's like the Hulk, except if you get him to tire himself out, tuckered out, he gets depowered. So clearly it's like run the clock. You know what I mean? It's like if you're in the Super Bowl and you've got like a 30-point lead, but there's 30 minutes left, you're like, just like keep the game playing, just keep it slow. Make sure nothing happens, run the clock. And so that's him. That's like how you'd fight him. But versus you think like Captain America, you're like, if it was Steve Rogers or Isaiah Bradley, just someone who's a super soldier with super strength, you'd be like, oh, okay, so he's got to like run around and dodge him. But if this dude can just fly, it's like literally like a video game boss battle that's like too like stupid. You literally just up here, and like he tries to jump for you, or he's like, no, he tries to throw stuff at you. You just dodge whatever he's doing. they get close enough for him to like try and attack you, and you just pull back. It's literally like a Dark Souls fight. Like it's just like I don't know. I don't know. And then like he's got another Falcon too. You're like, who wants to watch that? Like, who cares? Like I like the fact that Isaiah Bradley, who's basically like Black Captain America that they made after Steve Rogers died, like but they used him on like covert stuff and he wasn't like known to the public. But like I would much rather like see like I want to see like Super Soldier. I want to see someone with superpowers in the superhero movie instead of just a guy with a battle armor. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. Luke Cage. I would rather see Luke Cage fight the Red Hulk than, Falcon. I don't know. Like, Falcon's a good sidekick. Like, that's a good sidekick character. But that's not like. No one wants to see the Falcon movie. You know what I mean? I mean, why do you think like, they called it Falcon and the Winter Soldier? You're like, such a bad name. Captain America Brave New World, that's a great name. That's a good name. But you go, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Are you kidding me? You just said B. You just said mid and the more mid. Literally, Morbius is less mid than those two combined. It's just negative star power. Like, at least Morbius makes sense because he's a vampire and, like, you can do stuff with the vampire stuff and he's like a scientist, but like Kraven the Hunter, you're like, no, don't make that his own thing. Or Madam Web, you're like, don't make Madam Web her own thing, Sony. But then you see something like Sydney Sweeney as like Spider-Woman, you're like, and the other Spider-Women, you're like, no, do them as the Spider-Women. Make that the movie. Madam Web can be a character in the movie. Kraven can be a bad guy in the movie. If you really want to do a Morbius solo movie, sure. But like, make Kraven and Madam Web bad guy and Morbius bad guys, or like just side characters in a Spider Women team up movie or whatever. Like, there's infinite right ways, but like Spider Woman is a main character. You want to go see that? Like, if they said we got Spider Woman, it's Sydney Sweeney and like, or even Miles Morales. Like, see there, like that's one. Whether you say well, it's a race swap or whatever, it's like no, but like that's a guy with superpowers fighting bad guys. It's a superhero movie. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's kind of like my 2 cents. Like, I'm looking right now. I'm trying to see what superheroes I have. Like Deadpool. Like Deadpool has powers. He's an interesting character to watch. But like, if it was Deadpool versus Falcon, you'd be like, what? Like, oof. Like, that's just rough. That's so rough. Like, I'm trying to think. Maybe there's like a DC counterpart. I don't know. Like, I guess no, Blue Beetle's got enough stuff going on. Blue Beetle is like interesting, but I'm trying to think. Like, there's some characters where you're like, no, they don't need. They can't carry movie. Like Harrison Ford is the draw for the Captain America movie, not because Anthony Mackie isn't a good actor, because his character has nothing going on. In the sense that his character is, I'm a guy with no powers, and I'm trying to do the right thing. You're like, that's every person who isn't a superhero, who's like the main character in a movie. You know, it feels like the main character in like a horror movie. Like Friday the 13th or something. I don't even know. I haven't even seen that. But I imagine like Predator, but like Arnold is Arnold. Like that was some serious swagger to him. But any other type, I guess Ripley and Alien, but like in general in like horror movies and stuff, you just have someone with like no powers who's like, I'm trying to make it through. And then you have interesting stuff around them. It just feels like they did that. Like just off rip, you just go like the leader, uh, Juan Carlo Espinito or John Carlo Espinito. And he's super cool. He's great. Watch The Gentleman on Netflix. See, this is great because whoever's like here right now, like you're a homie. Like you're one of the dogs. You're one of the boys. Cause sitting here like, holy shoot, holy shoot. Let's get to 50. There's something so nice about getting like a 48 or 50-minute pod, just because you can go and like. Here's the thing: is like, let's say within 2 months it becomes like 700 listeners, and I'm going out and like getting sponsors. I can go like, yo, bro, like we've done pretty much, like a 50-minute pod. Like our average pod length is like 40 minutes for the last every day, for the last like 2 months. Like, yeah, you can like, and I got to research like the setup of deals when it comes to podcasts, and that's something I'll post about in the server too, under Pod Basics. But just this idea of like, because this is fun. It's like, do they pay by like, do you wait 30 days to see how many views you got, and then they pay you the CPM? Like, let's say it's $50 per 1,000 views, per minute. So each minute of ad is $50 for every 1,000 views. So let's say like, it gets 1,000 views and it's a 2-minute ad read, right? But that's 1,000 views that's the views within the first 30 days, right? Across all platforms. So let's say it gets 1,000 views after 30 days, but like when it first comes out, it only gets like 200 views. Like, how do you set up the deal? Like, I imagine they just pay you after 30 days, like 30 days out. Like, so let's say we did like the first one, we've got, let's say, anywhere from 6 to 8 sponsors, or 6 to 12, right? And there's 12 minutes of ads in the episode. Yeah. And we try and make the ad reads fun. Because I'm so excited. Also, I like having fun. Like, there's nothing funnier than a comedian just like going through an ad read. You're like, bro. I guess maybe that's because I'm like, I don't know, I'd be so much more grateful. Maybe in like a decade, I would be like, today's sponsor is BetterHelp. Get some help if you feel bad. I don't even know why I'd feel bad, because I'm so happy because I have material success. So like, I'm better than everyone, and all the supermodels I'm dating are like super cool. So like, who needs therapy? Sorry, let me get back to the yacht party. Yeah, I don't see me ever like not being like, that's the thing, is like, once I get self-employed, like once I get like making 150K a year just doing podcasting, it's going to get so much crazier in a good way. Like, I'm just gonna, I'll have no strings on me. Like, I'll literally have a budget to like do everything I want to do whenever I want to do it. Um, so like, I'll be in Austin, Texas. I will be getting all the comedians I can. Hopefully you get like up to the, well, no, I'll eventually get to the point where it's like, you got William Montgomery, you got David Lucas, you get like these people who are like very well known and well connected, and you just keep going, keep going, keep going, and like they help you get more and more people in the scene. But it's like the Black Keys are big fans of William Montgomery and like friggin' Casey Rocket. You know what I mean? So it's like, if within a couple months of me doing this like full time, I'm in Austin and I'm going out every single night networking at like open mics, comedy clubs, just finding people doing podcasts, musicians, comedians, just anyone, every single level, and just getting people coming in on town, coming out of tour, like just keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, it's not going to stop. You know what I mean? And then yeah, there's no way if I get like 20,000 followers on TikTok, just like doing my own stuff and reposting things, and the podcast gets to 1,000 views per episode, and I'm doing it full time. There's no way I getting bigger guests on. Which now you got 20,000 followers on TikTok, and you've got thousands of listeners on the podcast, and thousands of followers on Instagram. It's like, oh look, it's really easy to get guests now. You know what I mean? And you've got a whole group of people helping you get the guests. It's like we're literally unstoppable. So yeah, real fun. And then and then once it blows up within a year, then it's all like bringing you guys on, and then you guys get huge. It's the funny thing is like, you're selling the dream. You're selling the dream of being a podcast. Yes, support me, and then I will make your lives amazing. But it's like, but that's true, because I'm gonna blow up. Because if I like get 1 million views per episode, and I'm able to bring on like really good bands, I just made your life better. Boom, you have really good bands. And then I DM them, or no, on the podcast, I tell them to go into the Discord, and I literally like we'll set up a system. We can do this, is what I'm saying. We can set up a system where it's like every person we get on when they blow up with us. Because here's the thing. Okay, when Harlan Williams went on Joe Rogan, I hadn't seen much of what he'd done, but I'd seen he was on podcasts that popped up a little bit. Then I watched his episode, and then I said, I don't care how big or small the podcast, I want to see it if it had Harlan on it. And I started doing it with the most recent ones, and I kept going back. Same thing. We have the Rogan and Rock, the Rock Show with Connor Farrell, 1 million listeners per episode. We bring on a band called Josiah and the Coca-Cola Bush. Josiah Coca-Cola Bush. Josiah Coca-Cola Bush come on, and instantly people are like, oh my God, these are my favorite. I need to see everything they've done. Oh, well, good thing the last month before we had them go and do podcasts with every single, like 30 of the people in the new Rock Dynasty Discord server. You know what I mean? Starting with the 701st. But like we keep serving up all the guests, and then the big guests go to you guys. Because that's the whole thing, is if one of us blows up, if the Rock Show with Connor Farrell blows up, we can launch the whole freaking community. I'll tell you why the reason I want to do that is, like, let's say I get to the point where I've got 1,000 views and I can get like William Montgomery and like the Black Keys like want to come on the podcast, and like we start getting like Spoon or Beck or like some of these musicians. I guess Beck's like might be bigger than Spoon, but like it's freaking Spoon. Like we can get Royal Blood, like we could like get like if we can get any of those people, it's like I'm gonna send them to you guys, because like the odds are that one of us is charismatic, one of us is like gonna be a really good host. You know what I mean? Or here's the thing: is like, what if they don't get along with me? What if there's 20 huge guests who come on the show? Maybe 2 of them will like really click with me, and we'll become like friends, and they'll come on all the time, and we'll like hang out together, and we'll go on tours together, and we'll collaborate on records. But the other 18, let's say they don't click with me. It's like, well, if there's 30 other podcasts and I can show them a clip from each of the 30 other people's podcasts and be like, hey, would you want to go on this guy's? Like, and I could say, hey, our whole mission here is to like connect people, and to connect the new school, the new Rock Dynasty with kind of the old rockers and the old way. The new way and the old way, bring them together, bring back rock. That's the recipe, right? So if that's what we talk about on the show with like Mick Jagger, and then I'm like, hey, so I've got like 100 different podcasts that I could just literally send you to, like if you want to like do them at any point. Here is like some clips, you want to watch through them. You know what I mean? Like literally, and just like I'll show you a clip from each of these podcasts, and then when you're like, yeah, I want to do that one, boom, I'll just set it up. You know what I mean? And so if you got like 100 podcasts lined up and you keep the same 100 for like, let's say a month, and you have 30, let's say you have 20 huge rock stars come on, like that's like a 1 in 5 chance. But let's say I say, yeah, pick 5 of these you want to go on, right? Well, no, everyone's going to get picked at least once, get a big rock star on. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm like trying to think of ways to cycle it. But that's the thing where it's kind of like we kind of want to like throw them as like giant flaming coals onto your fire. But then we can also throw the new small bands on, the small bands who like blow up from the show, especially if it gets to the point where it's like Joe Rogan, where it's like 1 million views an episode. If I send Josiah in the Coca-Cola beads, Josiah Coca-Cola Bush. Oh, my laundry's done. If I set Josiah Coca-Cola Bush on the show, they blow up. But they did all 100 podcasts the week before. Even if they just did the first 30 minutes or the first 15 minutes of each podcast, because then they can actually do that over the course of a month or two. If they know they're coming on the Rock Show with Connor Farrell, they could genuinely do 200 podcasts if they're only doing 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And some of them they can do longer. But like if you're like, no, or let's do an even multiple of 60. 120 podcasts. it would take 20 hours to do 10 minutes, right? Because 6 podcasts would be an hour. And so 20 hours, yeah. So let's say we have them do 10 minutes on 120 podcasts. Yeah, they could literally like do 4 hours of podcasting one day. They could do literally like one day a week for 4 weeks. They could do podcasts, record all their things, do it in a big 5-hour session. And then when they finally get on the rock show, we do whatever, like an hour, 2, 3, 4, whatever we feel like. And then people go and then they go and watch all of the other podcasts. And let's say you had Mick Jagger on. You know what I mean? Like now you're starting to see where it's like there isn't really a wrong way to do it. Like, and then like let's say one of like you other guys like blow up too, and so now we've got like 2 or 3 like huge million listener like audiences that we can get these different sets of huge guests and like send them through the network. And then before you know it, you've got like this whole beautiful community of like hundreds of thousands of like podcasts. You know what I mean? That are all like anywhere from like 1,000 listeners per episode up to like 300,000, 3 million, right? You've got this huge like pool, but all these people who are making it full time, doing music, talking about music, like, because that's the biggest thing. People want rock culture. They want to like talk about rock. They want to be engaged with like rock, like they want to be thinking about rock. They want to be hearing about rock when they're doing their laundry, listening to the rock show. Like they want to like be introduced to new bands. They want to go to shows. They want to do these things. So it's like, it's a no-brainer. Just give it to them. Okay. Man, that's good. Good. Well, okay. Oh, I need to eat lunch. Or is that dinner? I need to eat dinner, do the laundry, and feed my dog now. Okay, but I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Okay, no, you say goodbye. Oh, I did the intro song, by the way. There's an intro on this today. And an outro. Peace, love, and rock and roll, brother. Peace, love, and rock and roll.